In order to truly master your emotions, it's not enough to simply keep everything inside. You must learn to control your impulses, especially the urge to blurt out everything that crosses your mind. It's about pausing, thinking carefully about how your words might affect others, and being strategic in how you communicate. You can't always approach situations with a blunt, do it my way attitude. Instead, you must persuade, not demand, recognizing that the world doesn't revolve around your immediate desires. This idea became real to me during a journey I never expected to take, writing kids' books. I never saw myself as a parent, nor did I envision writing for children. But after the success of The Boy Who Would Be King, another spark of inspiration hit. This one would be different. It would be about Epictetus. At first, it was just a fleeting idea, something that grew during a walk with my kids, but soon it transformed into something much bigger. From that moment, The Girl Who Would Be Free began to take shape. Creating this book wasn't a smooth ride. There were drafts and redrafts, moments of doubt, and hurdles at every turn. But what makes this process so rewarding is that it's a collaboration. Writing, especially for something as special as a children's book, requires an understanding that it's no longer just about you. It's about your connection to others, their feelings, their ideas. You can't simply push your vision onto them. You have to persuade, guide, and align your perspectives. It was a real challenge. The Stoic Epictetus himself teaches us that life's first task is to understand what we can control and what we cannot. Collaboration is inherently a lesson in this. You can't control another person's perspective or emotions, so you must learn to be open, listen, and respect. This process forces you to keep your emotions under control, to refine your approach, and to find a way to communicate your ideas that feels right, not just for you, but for everyone involved. I remember discussing this with my friend Adam Rubin, a children's author whose books my kids adore. He posed a crucial question. What does Epictetus want? Not just from life, but what does her character want? What are the external forces shaping her journey? These kinds of questions deepen the character, the narrative, and the connection with the reader. In the end, writing this book, just like everything in life, has been an exercise in balance, a balance between personal vision and collaboration, between leadership and listening. It's a reminder that the process of creating something worthwhile is always more complex than simply asserting your will. And when you embrace this complexity, the result is something far greater than what you could have achieved on your own. The heart of the story lies in the tension between what her father wants and what the world expects of her. It's this very conflict that drives the narrative forward, pushing the character to confront deep personal dilemmas and ultimately forge her own path. As the final stages of production for the book approach, we're seeing everything come together. Almost there, but not quite. I recently sent an email to check in on how the first sketches were progressing. Victor's response came with a few remaining pieces, and I've been approving them as they come in. The next step is to lay out the full book, integrating the images with the text and getting a physical copy in hand. Once it's printed, I'll read it to my kids again, to test the flow and see what resonates with them. It's always humbling to gauge whether what you've written can capture their attention, especially in a world where their focus is often consumed by YouTube videos and other distractions. Reading it aloud to them is the ultimate test. There's no room for self-indulgence. Each time I read it, the story gets shorter, tighter, and hopefully better. I'm constantly refining. I just sent Victor a message about the final steps, checking in on the color process, but there's been some delay in the printing side too. It's been frustrating, especially when we were expecting to have everything wrapped up by the end of the year. But sometimes things don't go as planned. Victor's work has been phenomenal. The illustrations are even better than I could have imagined. But when working with others, it's easy for time to slip away, especially when you're managing multiple moving parts. And while I might feel the pressure of the delay, I've learned to adapt and keep pushing forward. Mark Zuckerberg's quote always rings in my mind. There are brambles in the path, go around them. If the cucumber is bitter, spit it out. It's about accepting setbacks, adjusting to them, and using those obstacles to improve the final. product. But then, just when you think you're nearing the finish line, you get the dreaded email about supply chain issues. The printer can't get the specific paper we need for the book, pushing the release back even further. It's frustrating, but we have to roll with it. Sure, it means a delay from April to June, but maybe that's just the space we need to perfect it. Sometimes it's not about getting everything on time, but getting it right. The printing industry is stretched thin right now, and what used to take 2 months is now taking 4 to 5. Early summer is the earliest we can expect the final product. There's nothing to do but accept the reality of the situation and keep moving forward. When I reviewed the final proofs yesterday, I thought it was the last read-through, only to notice a small typo. Stands up instead of stands out. It's those little things that make all the difference, and we're catching them just in time. Even in the face of delays and setbacks, this process is a reminder of the bigger picture. Every step of the journey, every challenge, every change contributes to creating something that can truly make an impact. We're not just building a book, we're building a story that will resonate long after it's in readers' hands. And that makes all the struggle worth it. The journey of creating and launching a book, patience, perseverance, and the Stoic mindset in the process of creating something meaningful, especially a book, the path is rarely smooth. There are countless challenges, delays, and unexpected hurdles. A typo, for example, which might seem like a small issue, can cause a massive delay when the entire production process is already underway. It's like a small pebble in the road that, when overlooked, could derail everything you've worked for. But sometimes, these seemingly frustrating setbacks turn out to be blessings in disguise. I woke up this morning with news that our book's release would be delayed by another 3 weeks. It was already 6 months behind schedule, and we had marketing plans set for July 8th. But in this case, what initially felt like an annoying setback was actually a blessing. If the book had gone to production earlier, every copy would have contained an error. This was a reminder that sometimes delays, while frustrating in the moment, may prevent bigger mistakes and ensure the final product is something we can be proud of. The delay was mainly because this book has a unique size. It's not your standard 6x9 format, so production had to carve out specific time for this special request. Initially, I felt the pressure, but it became clear that some obstacles were unavoidable. But after explaining the situation to the team, they pushed aside other projects to prioritize ours. Now we're back on track for a June 30th shipping date, which gives us just enough time to sign thousands of books before launch. It's not ideal, but we'll make it work. This entire situation is a perfect example of how Epictetus would have approached it. Focus on what's within your control. We control how we respond, what we say to others, and when we announce things. It's easy to stress over what's out of your hands, but when you let go of that worry, you realize there's always a way forward. As much as I wanted the book out earlier, I had to accept that some things simply take time. The reality is that we can't predict every little bump along the way. There could be setbacks, but it doesn't have to mean failure. It just means adjusting your mindset and moving forward with what you have. The final result is often worth the wait, and there's peace in knowing you gave it your all. Creating this book has been an adventure. I remember back in March 2021, when the idea came to me so suddenly. I didn't know it would turn into what it is today, something so polished, so visually striking. It's a moment of pride, and holding the finished product in your hands feels surreal. The best advice I ever received about writing came from Stephen Pressfield, who encouraged me to start working on the next project as soon as you finish the current one. This mindset keeps you focused on the work itself, not on the outcome or external validation. As Epictetus would say, we cannot control how others react to our work. It might be a huge success, or it might fade into obscurity. What we can control is the effort we put into our work and the next step we take. As this book enters the world, I'm already thinking ahead to the next one, refining the layout, researching, and planning. The satisfaction comes not from the product itself, but from the continuous journey of creation. So while I'm excited about this book's release, I'm already planning the next steps. That's the beauty of the process. it's never really finished. If you've enjoyed this glimpse into the journey of a book's creation, don't forget to keep following and stay inspired. But more importantly, if you're seeking wisdom for your own life, I invite you to subscribe to the Daily Stoic email. It's a bite-sized piece of Stoic philosophy delivered straight to your inbox, completely free. And remember, as you face your own challenges and delays, keep in mind that setbacks aren't the end. They're just opportunities for growth.